Hello, universe. Welcome to my world. Today, when we do our Angelina Jordan video, we're looking at one famous song which came out 6 years ago. And it's a song by Zayn Malik, who was originally from One Direction. Very interesting story because originally when the members auditioned for Britain's Got Talent, none of them got very far individually, but they were put together as a band. And that's really when their careers took off. And One Direction were a worldwide phenomenon between 2010 and 2015, when Zayn Malik left the band and started his solo career. And this song of his from 2017 is called Dusk Till Dawn. Now, to introduce the song, we'll hear a couple of performances, first from the American YouTuber Devin Eddy, and then we will hear American singer by the name of Alexander Stewart.
Not trying to be in there, not trying to be cool, just trying to be in this. Tell me, are you too? Can you feel where the wind is? Can you feel it through all of the windows inside this room? 'Cause I wanna touch you, baby, and I wanna feel you too. I wanna see the sunrise on your sins, just me and you. Light it up on the run. Let's make love tonight.
Let's turn it up a notch and hear another couple of versions from a couple more singers who have even a more expressive voice and make the song sound even more sincere. First, we'll hear an English singer-songwriter, Ben Woodward, and then we'll go to Cyprus and we'll meet Andrew Lambarou.
Not trying to be indie, not trying to be cool, just trying to be in this. Tell me, are you too? Can you feel where the wind is? Can you feel it through all of the windows inside this room?
'Cause I wanna touch you, baby, I wanna feel you too. I wanna see the sunrise and your sins, just me and you. Light it up on the run. Let's make love tonight. Make it up, fall in love, try. You'll never be alone. I'll be with you from dusk till dawn. I'll be with you from dusk till dawn.
Next, we're going to hear a couple of female versions. It's very striking how different the female versions sound from the male versions. This is Davina Michelle. She's a YouTuber from Holland. And then we'll hear the English singer, who has record contracts on both sides of the Atlantic, Samantha Harvey.
Not trying to be in there, not trying to be cool, just trying to be in this. Tell me, are you too? Can you feel where the wind is? Can you feel it through all of the windows inside this room? 'Cause I wanna touch you, baby, and I wanna feel it too. I wanna see the sunrise on your sins, just me and you. Light it up on the run. Let's make love tonight. Make it up, fall in love, try.
Let's hear a couple of more female singers. Jay Fla from Korea really goes with the flow of the tune. And when we hear Julia Westland, she's originally from Sweden, now living in Canada, and she does an a cappella version, and all the accompanying sounds are voice and mouth, which you can follow by watching the various frames in the video.
But you'll never be alone. I'll be with you from dusk till dawn. I'll be with you from dusk till dawn. Baby, I'm right here. I hold you when things go wrong. I'll be with you from dusk till dawn. I'll be with you from dusk till dawn. Baby, I'm right here. too. I wanna see the sunrise and your sins, just me and you. Light it up on the run.
Next, we're going to hear a couple of duets. First, we're going to hear Kirsten Collins and Blake Rose. They're both singer-songwriters. She's from Canada and he is from Australia. And then we're going to the Czech Republic and we're going to hear Martin Schreiner and Diana Kovalova.
Not trying to be in there, not trying to be cool, just trying to be in this. Tell me, are you too?
Can you feel where the wind is? Can you feel it through all of the windows inside this room?
'Cause I wanna touch you, baby, and I wanna feel you too. I wanna see the sunrise on your senses, me and you.
Light it up on the run. Let's make love tonight.
Just tryna be in this. Tell me how you do.
Can you feel that you're in this? Can you feel it through all of the windows inside this room?
'Cause I wanna touch you, baby.
And I wanna feel you too.
I wanna see the sunrise.
And your sense, just me and you.
Next, we're doing something we haven't done before. We're going to hear 3 different piano introductions to the song. 2 we've heard before, and the 3rd we're about to hear. And they set completely different tones for the vocals which follow. First, we'll hear Ben Woodward's introduction, and then we'll hear the introduction from the duet with Kirsten Collins. And then we'll hear the piano introduction, which is more low-key for Angelina Jordan. Quite a contrast from each other.
Not trying to be indie.
And when we hear the introduction for the duet, it sounds like raindrops falling on a glass roof.
Not
Next, we're approaching the original. But before we do that, is one overriding fact that we have to keep in mind when hearing the original. The video for Zayn Malik's version has 2 billion views. That's 25% of the world population. I cannot get my head around that number. I cannot understand how 1/4 of the world population have heard this video. Okay, there are many 1 billion viewed YouTube videos. Some of them I can understand. Despacito, the Spanish language song, features a Miss World, and that has 8 billion views. I can understand that. But Crazy Frog has 4 billion views. I have trouble understanding that. But then even a cat playing a piano has 75 million views. So it just puts it into perspective for me when I invest 20 hours in making a video and it has 5,000 or 10,000 views. It's hard for me to explain why Zayn Malik's video has 2 billion views. He's good, he's very good, but he's not remarkably that much better than many of the other performances that we've just heard. But there's something special about this video which we really need to talk about, and that is this video is a narrative-based music video, which means it tells a story. There's a story in the video, and that makes it very, very special. And let's look at that because that's important. In the 1940s, television came along, and it gradually found its feet in terms of the music business. In the 1950s, you had stand-up performers singing straight in front of the camera, and that was about as much production and marketing as you had. By the 1960s, you had pop promos, for example, like with Penny Lane, when the Beatles were able to capture their spontaneity and fooling around in front of a camera. But in the mid-70s, you had Bohemian Rhapsody, and this really revolutionized the concept of how a video could be paired with the music. And music was never quite the same after Bohemian Rhapsody. And then, of course, the landmark moment was in 1983 when Thriller came along and Michael Jackson launched his career into the stratosphere with this 13-minute video. And from that moment onward, all of the serious, profound music videos, they had film directors directing it. Michael Jackson had John Landis, who famously had directed An American Werewolf in London just a couple of years earlier. But none of these were actually narrative-based music videos. Michael Jackson was very slick and wonderful and dramatic and with great dance moves, but none of them actually told a story. Not until 1984, when Lionel Richie sang Hello. And here he was as a teacher, and he had a very strong attraction to one of his students who was blind. And that story was captured in the song and portrayed very well. And this was the groundbreaking moment when music videos captured a story. In the 1990s, you had the Beastie Boys singing Sabotage. They were telling a story, but it was a parody. It was a parody on the detective police shows that came before, like Hawaii Five-0 and Starsky and Hutch. Fast forward to the 21st century. In 2010, you had Lady Gaga singing Telephone. It's a story, but it's also a fusion of rock and pop and fashion. And we now have the word in the English language, fashionista, which captures the blend of what Lady Gaga was able to achieve. In 2017, you had Camille Cabello doing Havana, which was a wonderfully put together story with great characters and great script, and very funny at the same time. This was the year when Zayn Malik did his song, and of course more recently you have someone like Taylor Swift, and when she performs her song, she actually calls it the short film. But what's interesting is that when Zayn Malik performs his song, the lyrics don't actually quite parallel the story that we're watching in the video. The video is more like the scene out of a spy thriller. I've tried to capture the story of his video as much as I've tried to capture the music. So when we watch his performance, we have a story to follow as well as the music.
Not trying to be in there, not trying to be cool, just trying to be in this. Tell me how you do. 'Cause I wanna touch you, baby, and I wanna feel you too. I wanna see the sunrise and your sins, just me and you. Make it up, fall in love twice. I'll be with you from dusk till dawn. I'll be with you from dusk till dawn. Baby, I'm we were shut like a jacket, so do yours. We would roll down the rapids to find a wave that fits. Can you feel where the wind is? Can you feel it through all of the windows inside this room? 'Cause I wanna touch you, baby.
So we've come to Angelina Jordan. Angelina Jordan has used videos in a very interesting way. A couple of years ago now, she had a very interesting setting in a chandelier shop when she sung Suspicious Minds, but without really a story attached to it. And when she did her video, Love Don't Let Me Go, it was more featuring a drive through California in a fancy car. But actually, I can't think of a narrative-based music video that she did. Well, actually, it was her granny, and it was called When You're Smiling, where the video tells a story to match the lyrics.
And we laugh, oh, you laugh, the sun comes shining through. But when you crying, you bring on the rain. So stop your sighing. Won't you be happy again? Keep on smiling. It's when you're smiling, and the whole world smiles with you.
And over again, with almost every music production and video, we see evidence of the hand of Mary Zamani, whether she's the director or the executive producer. And she's extremely well placed. Being a poet and a painter, she's very aware of the impact of the spoken word, the sung word, and the visual image. Speaking of visual image, when Angelina performs this song, the visual image is not what it usually is. She's seen from the side. She's barely seen it at all. So we have to appreciate the audio for what it is. But the audio really is excellent, and she brings her usual jazzy, blues, original spin to the song compared to what we've heard before.
Not trying to be in there, not trying to be cool, just trying to be in there. Just tell me, are you too? Can you feel where the wind is? Can you feel it through all of the windows inside this room? Yes, I wanna touch you, baby. I wanna feel you too. I wanna see the sunrise and the since just me and you. Light it up, all around. Let's have fun tonight. Make it up, fall in love, try. I'll be waiting from dusk till dawn. Maybe I'm right here. I'll hold you when things go wrong. I'll be waiting from dusk till dawn. I'll be waiting from dusk till dawn. Maybe I'm right here. I'll be waiting from dusk till dawn. Maybe I'm right here. We were short like a jacket. Some dudes yourself. We will roll down the rapids to find a way that fits. Can you feel where the wind is? Can you feel it through all the windows inside this room? Yes, I wanna touch you, baby. I wanna feel you too. I wanna see the sunrise in distance, just me and you. Light it up, fall in love. Let's have fun tonight. Make it up, fall in love, try. But you won't be alone. I'll be waiting from dusk till dawn. I'll be waiting from dusk till dawn. Maybe I'm right here. I'll hold you when things go wrong. I'll be waiting from dusk till dawn. I'll be waiting from dusk till dawn. Maybe I'm right here. I'll be waiting from dusk till dawn. Maybe I'm right here. Get good up to your body. It's not you can stop it. Go get up to your body. It's not you can stop it. Go get up to your body. It's not you can stop it. Go get up to your body. Go get up to your body. But you'll never be alone. I'll be waiting for dusk too long. I'll be waiting for dusk too long. Baby, I'm right here. I'll hold you when things go wrong. I'll be waiting from dusk till dawn. I'll be waiting from dusk till dawn. Baby, I'm right here. No, baby, I'm right here. No.
wonderful. We have all these little gems from Angelina Jordan in the most casual of settings. TikTok, Instagram, very informal, where her talent just shines through. We will continue to look at the ever-developing talent of Angelina Jordan in the future. Okay, gang, I'm out here. I'll catch you later. Bye.